dreams go free. Got an angel next to me. Hold me close so I can breathe. Let me go so I can live.
All right, well, namaste and lak'ech, my family, and welcome to a little special edition with Miss Elizabeth April. We are here to do a little soiree, I should say, of consciousness to get us ready for a Sedona Cosmic Awakening. April, you're speaking on Saturday, April 23rd at 5 o'clock, correct?
Yep.
Woohoo! Well, you're you're the guest with all the, usually you're the one hosting. So I'm sure you're like, what is he going to ask me? I'm super casual. Okay. So why don't you let everyone know some of the topics and things that you're going to be talking about at the conference?
Yeah. So mostly I want to be talking about, just how the old Earth system is collapsing. So basically the update on how is that going? Where are we at right now, 2022? And then the shift moving into a higher plane of consciousness, certain messages coming through from the Galactic Federation for humanity at this time.
Yes.
And then what can we expect for the next couple of years as well, moving kind of through the old density into the new density, and what do we need to be doing at an individual level, and what do we need to be aware of at a collective level?
Well, tip your waiter on the way out. That sounds fantastic. You know what I mean? I love watching your broadcasts, and I love when you start channeling. I love how you keep it real. And, the fact that, we have a lot of similarities. You're like, I have to move again. I don't know. I mean? There's been a lot of things. And, with some of the things that are going on in consciousness, specifically right now, I would like to kind of speak about some of the hope. There's a lot of negativity out there. And I think that, some of that negativity and frequencies are more or less forcing us to choose a side or choose a polarity or what type of world we truly want to live in. And I think that's really important for a lot of us that are processing. And I know you work day and night as I do. We burn the candles on both ends. And I know that your territory over there, you move quite a bit. You were in Los Angeles. Are you back in Los Angeles? You kind of move around, right? So,
well, yeah, I mean, I was in LA for the past 4 years, and then ended up buying a property with my wife on the East Coast, which is a beautiful kind of 10-acre.
in Florida or?
No, in Canada, actually, in Ontario. So I'm Canadian.
Oh, well, hey.
Yeah.
Don't you know? I was like, there's so many.
Don't you know? We're
Hey,
nice people.
I was like, if Ryan Reynolds was here, we'd be besties. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, bring out the maple syrup and the hockey
his
sticks. Like,
his vocabulary and mine is pretty close to the hip. You know what I mean? I love that guy.
Yeah.
No, but awesome. Well, all right. Well, thank goodness you're up there, holding it down. I mean, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, they totally need you. Like, we need you to come home to Canada. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. Our guides sometimes move us around where they need us.
Yeah.
So with your activations and some of the specific skill sets, what do you feel right now in humanity for someone just waking up? Some of us can be quite advanced, but then we can't talk to someone who's just waking up and going through that stuff. It's almost like we speak a different language.
Yeah.
What are some of the most important things you think that someone who's just waking up or getting on their path can focus on, especially right now in these, crazy times, 2022?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I talk about aliens and other dimensions and quantum physics and all that's great stuff, but recently the emphasis has been on like real tangible things that people can do to switch their vibration. And just like you mentioned, like we are stuck right now in a world full of polarity, a world full of chaos, a world full of distraction and fear, essentially. So the number one thing, well, there's probably 3 things that I could recommend to people right now. One is remove yourself from distraction. It could be a crazy neighbor, could be a stalker, could be a family situation, it could be a job dynamic, it could be the fact that you watch the news and that makes you really anxious. Just stop all of that and really like start to quiet your mind more often and get more into that neutral space. Nature is really great for neutrality. Taking
Yes.
baths is really great for neutrality.
Yes.
Even like like writing journal entries is great for neutrality because you purge out the polarity within yourself.
Yes.
Um, meditation, yoga, like all of these things are really great for neutrality, but we need to stop the noise. So that's like the number one thing that I would recommend. And then what are some of the other things that we're coming through? Oh, yeah. Two, I would recommend is like take responsibility for everything that's happening in your life. This
Right.
is really important for people who are just waking up. It's so easy to blame the government. It's so easy to blame your parents. It's so easy to blame your boss for your current predicaments or situations.
Right.
And I'm a huge believer that everything that happens to us, we contracted, we chose, we brought into our lives. Maybe you're learning a lesson, maybe you're clearing karma, but you'll never be able to fully step into the powerful role of becoming your own creator
Mm.
if you continuously give your power away to other people, saying, why would you do this to me? And how could you? And,
Mm.
all of those things. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, I created this. I keep creating this. This isn't a good thing. How do I uncreate it and recreate it in a different energy? So,
Right.
taking that responsibility is so important. And that's a huge step to really owning your power and creating the reality that you want to live. And you basically stop living as a victim and you start living as a God. And that's what I really I like to mention as well. We're all fractals of source. We all have that creation power within ourselves. And then I think the third thing that I would recommend for people right now who are really struggling or feel stuck or stagnant or just waking up,
Mm.
um, it would be to bring more gratitude into your life, because we're so focused on what we don't have. We're so focused on how terrible things are and how crazy the world is and how much lack you feel. And the more that we can focus on the gratitude, the appreciation, the realization that we have so much in our life, especially when we take a look at third worlds, especially when we take a look at the rest of the world and understand
Yes.
we have running water that we can drink coming out of our taps. We have, infinite amounts of information on our phones, the touch of a button, and a lot of the world doesn't have those things. We have a roof over our head,
Mm.
and we just don't realize, especially in the Western world, that we have a lot of things that we take for granted for. And whether it be, seeing a bird fly by your window or feeling the cool breeze on your face, or even like stubbing your toe and feeling the pain in your
Right.
in your foot, like there's so many things within this experience that we can really be present with and really be grateful for, and that will immediately switch your vibration from a low density into a much higher one.
First and foremost, we must be out from the same ship because I literally, like you're speaking, I feel like you're a mirror and I'm listening to myself with like the blonde version. I'm like, hi, this is your version. I'm like, hi, I'm the other version. I'm the male dark haired version for you. No, that is verbatim. Everything you said, 100% on point. The distraction, the technology, obviously being a main factor in that. Little tip for
Mhm.
people wearing the AirPlay earbuds: careful with how much you have that Bluetooth on between your ears. I always recommend with certain headphones, I like them wired, even though they're newer models, keep them plugged in. Some of the different things that you can wear interacting, in the physical plane. I know that those towers have really been implemented in larger cities. It does affect me. I just got back from Florida, and yes, those towers are up and running. But however, in Florida, where I just came from a couple days ago, yesterday actually, they're far more spread out and sparse. In Los Angeles, you have those back to back to back to back. So
Mhm.
be very careful with your conscious and your energy because, especially with your nutrition, if you are to do this type of work and actually connect with, your higher self and have the energy to do the discipline every night and every day, day in, day out, just remember your environment does play a part. It's not just you alone. There are frequencies banging into us that do affect our electromagnetic field. So to pay attention with that. Sweet. All right. Now We did the beginning opening. Thank you for everyone for the now let's take it to a little more advanced. So for those that have been practicing, I know I'm like, I always show up, I'm on stage, I'm like, yo, what's up? Hey, you're gonna wake up or what? They're like, who am I? You know what I mean? Those that are like, the OGs that like woke up in the 70s and 80s going like, I've been waiting for 40 years. Like, is this really happening now? So for those a little more advanced, what are some things that you would like to share and maybe discuss at the conference?
Yeah, like there's so many things. I think this is something that I channeled back in 2018,
Mm,
that between 2020 and 2024, we're going to see a collapse of the old world system.
yes.
That is political, that's economic, that's environmental, that's educational,
Mm,
that's religious, all of the systems that have been created to bring us down, to marginalize, to separate, to make us feel fear, are all going to be collapsing. I mean, we see it right now today. These
mm,
systems are changing.
yes.
So I do want to talk, a lot about that at the conference. And so one of the things also that came through in 2018 is that we are in the middle of a world war right now, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize it. And I call it World War III, and it is spiritual warfare.
Yep.
And yes, this has been happening and going on our planet for quite some time, but we're at the precipice right now. We are literally at the tipping point.
Yes.
And so, like, what I want to say, especially for those of you who have been awakening and working on themselves,
Hmm.
there's a lot of this feeling, and I think this actually comes from like religious sacrifice and shame and guilt of like, you have to be serving others, you have to be giving yourself, you have to be, or else you're a bad, person or whatever. And what I'm kind of seeing in a lot of like awakened individuals and star seeds is that the need to overgive is so present that they're actually suffering and they're giving from a very low vibrational place.
Yes.
And it just doesn't work that way.
Mm,
Like, it's almost like the way that I kind of vibrationally feel it is like a very hollow giving. Their intentions are pure, the authenticity is there,
mm.
but they've got nothing to give. So as much as they're giving, they're draining themselves, and they're taking from their own life force reserve. Whereas
Right.
we need to be practicing how to connect to pure source energy, which is an infinite pool of that energy and frequency, and being the conduit for it, rather than taking from ourselves and giving that outward.
Right.
Because if you're not replenishing, you're just draining yourself perpetually. So I really want to kind of remind those who have been on the path for a while, please check yourself. And if you feel like you've been really exhausted lately and you've
Mhm.
been kind of just spinning your wheels, most likely it's because you're not connecting to pure source energy enough, because that needs to be a weekly, daily practice.
Right.
Um, and then it also means that you're probably over giving and under receiving. And I'm not talking about receiving from the world around you, which is fine too. More so receiving from yourself and being that perpetual energy, bringing that perpetual energy in from pure source. So work on yourself first. Like, I want to also bring it down to the realness of the 3D level, which is, we all want cosmic connection. We all want to talk to our spirit guides. We all want to raise our vibration, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
if you're suffering in your relationships and you're suffering in
Yep.
your job and your human life is shit, what's going to happen is you're going to want to leave, your
Leave.
exit
Yeah,
your human
that's
body,
that's
get
like I'm
out,
out. This
get
is
out of this reality, right? I want out.
yeah.
And that is going to actually create a lot of health complications. Like, I've dealt with a lot of people over the years, like myself included, who have had like autoimmune disease and like certain like physical issues. And really what it comes down to is like, you don't want to be here. Your human life is overwhelming. It's stressful. I get that. So
Right.
you're leaving your physical body and you don't have enough vibrational frequency within to
Yep.
actually just heal yourself. So
Yep.
your body's getting depleted and it's screaming at you, get grounded, get in your body, work on yourself. And at a certain point, when all of your physical foundations are aligned to your highest vibration, when you are feeling the most excited about every aspect of your physical human reality,
Mhm.
then and only then should you be like, I am ready to commit myself to giving back.
Mhm.
And I also want to mention one more thing about this is, so many people are searching for their mission. What's my mission? What's my purpose? How do I do this? What's that thing that lights me up? And I just want to remind everyone who's watching this that you're a starseed, you're a volunteer, you came here, and you don't actually have to do or say anything in order to amplify your vibration to the world, which once again means what vibration do you authentically have within yourself without trying to project or trying to heal or trying to do anything? Where are you at? Because that's what you're amplifying. So
Right.
work on yourself first, get to the highest, most pure vibrational frequency, and naturally that amplification will serve the rest of the world without you having to get up on the rooftops and teach everyone,
Yeah.
who they really are.
One hundo. I call it the drink from the sun and put my 80s or music on in the backyard and just send light concussion waves through Sedona. And the thing is that that's something when we grow up and we get stronger, and I know you know what I speak of, when our energetic fields grow. Some of the things us empaths feel that we have to get over at times is, you know, it's more or less kind of like, if you remember the Superman, the movie The Superman, the first one that came out, when he's a little kid and his awareness turns on and he has to like run and hide and his mom comes and gets him, like, hey, just focus on my voice. Well, with us empaths out there in the collective consciousness, the unified field is something that we dwell, exist, and float in. We are part of. So to feel all of the emotion of everyone around you in the beginning may seem like, why is this happening to me? Why do I feel everything and everyone else around me is numb? Why does my heart hurt when I see something and other people just kind of wash it over? What I'm here to express is that empathy is what is necessary when you have true responsibility. True responsibility in your energy field and in your electromagnetic field. You want to call it your energy body, your auric body, but truly who we really are, minus these cute suits. By the way, I love my suit. Your suit is fire. Your wife's suit, I'm sure, is absolutely fire. I mean, come on now. But what I'm trying to say is we work hard on these suits, by the way. We don't just, this takes a lot. You'd be surprised what you got to feed it, how much you got to work it out, and what kind of vitamins you. I mean, this thing is high. It's high. It takes a lot of work to get the suit where you want it. But I'm stressing for a lot of people wondering why it's so important. The detoxing of the suit and the removing of certain particles, heavy metals, bacteria is limiting the amount of frequencies that have access to your suit. Okay, the more pure you are in your pure form, in that organic, that non-GMO form, whatever that may be for us, the harder it is for anything of a lower vibration or a parasitic function to attach to us. Now, as Elizabeth well knows, if they can't get at you, what do? These negative frequencies, they try to get to those closest to you. Anyone who has a connection to your heartstring. But understand that should be the strategic, that's how it's done. That shouldn't be a question mark to you. If they can't get, say, Elizabeth or I, what happens is, well, what about Bobby and Johnny and Kelly and those in my group and the whole, and you've seen that kind of happen in our arena since, 2017, 2018, a lot of these truthers that came out and a lot of the disclosure kind of imploded on itself because we couldn't all come together because of different things, let's just say, right? So what I'm getting to is that rule exists for us as it does for you. There is no one that gets a free pass. Elizabeth, do you know anyone who gets a free pass on the card? No. I know of no one. If anything, those with true responsibility have to deal with more. Those that actually are sharing truth and wisdom have to deal with more, not less. And I feel that in your own way, as you lead yourself towards your own enlightenment, that responsibility becomes something that grows from the inside out. And as you become more powerful, more energetically, and you stabilize, you walk into a grocery store and everyone has a great day as soon as you walk in. That's your field of energy. Or people are getting crazy. I did it in Florida. There was some craziness going on in the coffee shop. I just walked in and goes, yo, what's up? And everyone's just like, because they're like arguing and fighting. They all turn and look at me. I'm like, what it is, bro? And just bro. And like the whole place just went, whoa, who is this guy? So what I'm trying to say is that just don't think because the collective is going through this storm that it has to directly affect you. Right? I like to think that some of us are like submarines. It doesn't matter if it's 100-mile-an-hour winds outside, doesn't how big the surf is. us and maintaining our vibration affects everything around us. And like you said, it's not about showing up like, what's my mission? You just being here and being in a good mood and helping your friends and family is enough to shift this whole planet. And I think that goes hand in hand with some of the wisdom you were sharing. Is just, we do have that fire inside. Let's be honest. Some of us have that inferno of like our mission, what is it? And what are we doing? But the truth can be said that you must first heal thyself before you can heal others. And once you can heal thyself and know thyself, it's very difficult for any being to step to you and try to trick you or try to use temptation or try to bribe you or any of these weird things that take you off your path. If everyone on this planet knew who they were in past lives or knew exactly how awesome their higher selves were, there would probably be about 95% less shenanigans on this planet. I mean, I'm sure your higher selves are like mine. My dude's looking at me like Odin Thor, like, boy, is that how you'd like to be treated? Like, I mean, it's cute that these people, you know what I mean? When you're waking up, you don't know. If you wanted to share a little bit about that, I mean, our higher selves keep us in check. I mean, full stop, and we're always going, is this true information? We run it through our guides. What should I feel? How do I discern? And there's different ways to do that. But, I think we should end with that. What are some of the techniques you use to cross-check between, what you're feeling or what you're seeing, and then how you do it with your higher selves and kind of cross-check the information and feel through it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I believe that we're all psychic. We all have extrasensory abilities.
Yes.
We're all kind of pieces of this puzzle, fractals of source. We're all bringing this like unique element of ourselves through. So yeah, like I cross-check all the time. When I channel information, I channel from the collective consciousness grid of planet Earth. I channel through remote viewing, like Earth's human history or remote viewing the future.
Yes.
I channel, bring information through the Galactic Federation of Light or different beings. I bring information through your spirit guides or my spirit guides, my higher self, my parallel selves or counterparts.
Mhm.
It's really important that we realize that if you go to a being, whether it be a spirit guide, whether it be a spiritual teacher, even on this reality dimension plane, or even an interdimensional being, a part of the Galactic Federation, they're limited. There's limitations there because they're still incarnated into one body, and they have their own sort of lessons that they're learning as well. Like I remember when I first woke up, I really thought like, oh, my spirit guides are almighty. They know everything. They know way
Yeah.
more than me. And you instantly give your power away to them. Luckily, they're good vibes. So they don't
Yeah.
take that power, and take it as an advantage. But we have to realize that all of our spirit guides, all of our past lives, we've been all of them and some. So you have everything that you need within yourself. Once again, it comes down to quieting your mind and asking questions, setting intentions in order to receive the information. I do want to talk a little bit about contracts as well. So I believe that everything in our life is, it's destiny versus free will, and that's a whole other conversation.
Right. Right.
But I believe that everything happens for a reason, to either teach us a lesson or to clear karmic energy from the past, right? So you're either learning something new or you're closing something old. And so in that regard, it's not our higher self or our spirit guides or the Galactic Federation or whoever who create those contracts for us. It's us who create that contract.
Yes.
And I think that that's really misinterpreted as well. Like I remember back in the day, I would like spite my own destiny just to like say, F you, spirit guides.
I'm
Like
not
I get to
doing
create
it.
my, yeah.
You
It's
can't
like,
make me do it.
exactly. So like I would do crazy things like in the
Yeah.
middle of my day, I would take a pen from my desk and I'd chuck it across my room. And I'm like, ha, you didn't see that one coming. That wasn't predestined. That wasn't in my
Right.
contract.
Right.
And so much effort just to spite my future moment, just to like
I
derail
know.
my destiny, so I
Yes.
can stick them with my free will. And then I finally eventually realized that, oh my god, I wrote my own contracts. I'm just spiting myself. This is ridiculous. And
Right.
I had to go through that process to
Yes.
realize that.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think that their spirit guides are the ones saying this needs to happen at this time. Your spirit guides are only there to guide you along the contracts that you put out on your own path. And we also don't realize that our guides are there to also like allow us to experience the shitty aspects of life too. They're not there to just guide us into the highest vibration. If you need to experience an accident or a breakup or something like that, they will guide us through that as well. And we contracted that once again to learn a lesson or to clear old karma. So yeah, I think that when we start to step into those psychic abilities and we start to really listen to that empathic vibration, we need to like listen to all of the different angles of it that are from within. And the biggest way that I cross-reference, the biggest thing that will allow me to know that that is the highest vibrational truth is how it feels. Not what it looks like, not how it comes across, not how clear or how blurry the information is. It's really centering into that heart space. And if it's a projection, if it's a manipulation, if it's a derail, if it's a distraction, if it's just bullshit, you'll feel it. It's an empty feeling. It's not like, we have to know what pure source unconditional love feels like in order to discern and differentiate between maybe the false light and the true light. And for me, that's been the number one thing. No matter where the information is coming from, I know that it is the truth, or at least my truth, if it resonates with that unconditional love frequency. And I very much so know the difference between not unconditional love and unconditional love, because I've had to experience the dark side, because I've had to experience the manipulation and the projection. And I'm grateful for those experiences, because it's led me to this point where my discernment is so quick.
It's not cool while you're going through it, ladies and gentlemen, just let you know. But later you self-reflect upon it and you're like, oh, so that's why that happened. You get the oh moment afterwards. Yes.
Yep. So it's important. Like, your experience with the dark side is just as important as your experience with the light. And once you see both sides and that beautiful polarity that we're here to experience, then you can kind of rise above the polarity and bring yourself back into 0 point neutrality. And it's in that place where you get connected to the everything, the all that is, and simultaneously none of it. And it's tough to explain until you're right there and you're like, oh my God, this is everything and nothing simultaneously. And how is that possible? It doesn't matter how you perceive it as possible. It just matters how it feels in your body.
Yes. Dude, like, where you been? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They've been watching me since 2010. I mean, I don't know. All the cool stuff. I'm like, come on now. You're fire, first and foremost. Definitely. I can say for people that do the work, more the light warrior, you're really a light warrior that has like a light worker like glow to you. You're like, hey, everything's cool, but like don't mess. Like, she's got some like double blades behind her. She's like,
totally
mind your P's and Q's and don't mess with me. I'll come at you like a ninja. Hi. So a warrior recognizes warrior. We get some of the gnarliest tests because it's almost like, I guess a way you could say this is, why do cops go to training? Why does a cop have to know how to put on handcuffs and not hurt somebody? Why do you have to go through all this training? Well, we're almost kind of like, some of us are like I said, if you're working with the Galactic Federation of Light, we are trained on both sides to be able to deal with certain things, entities, beings that come into our space. We have to be trained on how to deal with that. We have to first be able to recognize, hey, red flag right there. Got a little gremlin riding on Sheila's corner. There's someone riding on that woman's shoulder. Is anyone going to tell her? Okay. Yeah. So I can see the caller. Let's, make it happen. But the thing is that the discernment necessary, and truly when you step into your power, the unbiasedness or unconditional love to help all that step into your field, you must have experienced both polarities to understand what you're doing. I'm sure we could swap stories with yelling at our angelics. Like, you haven't been down here in 5,000 years. Do you even know what mud looks like? You know what I mean? I don't get any mud on your golden slippers, right? Or my night side, my right side. Eventually, about 6-7 years in, after I did some big activations and, went around the planet, a lot of this stuff is going and picking up your old and access. Basically, you're activating your dormant DNA by going to sacred sites and locations that you have been in previous lives. It's almost like you're picking up a Blu-ray disc instead of sitting on the couch at home trying to download 1 megabyte a second. You're going there and picking up 15 gigabytes or terabytes, and you're like, oh, now I have to watch this film, right?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that, what I had to do with my night side in particular was I didn't want to make the same mistakes maybe some of my higher selves did in past timelines or future timelines. Polarity, service to others, light side, service to self, night side. Now, there's also a beautiful place in the middle. And I also wanted to say for all those healers out there, turn off that martyr program. I believe you were speaking about that earlier. Remember this: if you're the strongest in your team, your squad, your tribe, your family, energetically, right? Spiritually and energetically, you could be 16, 18 years old, but you're the wisest person in your family, right? The issue is to understand truly the wisdom in which you wield was always meant to stabilize not only yourself, but those around you. And some of us come down here together, like we have, to stabilize a planet. And I wanted to share that to people who could be watching this in different languages with captions. It does not matter what country you come from. It doesn't matter what your main language is. To understand that there is a group of incarnates that came down here that are a little different, and you may be one of them. And to understand that drive or passion you may have is because we showed up here with this passion and drive. Or like most of us empaths and starseeds would say, we wouldn't have come unless you needed us to come. Okay, I've got some homies out there in Electra. I would be chilling right now. I don't need, I'd be with my Palladians and Andromedans. We're here for a specific reason. And I can't wait to share more at the conference. But I think that'll be good for today for a little spice it up with Miss Elizabeth April. Anything you'd like to share at the end?
I always like just sharing the message of realizing how powerful you are and really stepping out of the matrix and stepping out of the distraction and going within and just understanding that you don't need anything or anyone else to figure it out, to gain access to the answers and the wisdom. I mean, you're here for a reason. You're listening to this for a reason, and you've got more than you could ever possibly imagine. So it's always about giving that power back to people because this whole system is disempowering. So yeah, I can't wait to speak at the conference and hug people again. Yeah. I mean, last in-person conference I was at was 2020, like beginning of 2020. So I can't wait for that organic in person, seeing the expressions on people's faces and hearing their stories. Like, it's just so invaluable. So yeah, I'm really excited for this conference. Looking forward to seeing everyone in Sedona.
It's on SedonaCosmicAwakening.com if you guys want to get your tickets. And Elizabeth, as always, absolute pleasure being with you here today. And you guys, we'll see you in Sedona. It is April 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And Miss Elizabeth April speaks at 5 p.m. on Saturday. All right, you guys, you have a blessed week. Talk to you soon.